Learning from my PCP. I just went to see my PCP, catch up, chat, ask about work related stuff. And I realized it's very useful for a doctor to see how other doctors are, to see how they interact with patients, to learn, shall we say, what we can improve on to make ourselves even better. Simply, my visit was for annual, which we did. That's fast and easy, nothing much to it. But it's interesting how he relates to people, how he interacts with people. And it could be different because, he knows I'm a doctor. We've chatted before. I think there's a few takeaway points. So one is making sure the patient is heard, involved in decision making. How do you involve them? How do you make them feel like they have input into what's happening? He asked what labs I'd like. That's one way, right? You can choose what you want to do. He asked me what I thought I could improve on. Instead of the doctor saying, "Hey, you need to, lose some weight," how do you feel life is going? Any New Year's resolution, thing you think you could work on, make yourself even better at? Lets me talk. I often do that with patients, though. I know some doctors don't. Let me talk for an extended period of time without interruption. That's really helpful and useful. He explained what he was doing when he was doing a physical exam. That's something I don't do. Some doctors have actually picked that up as I would say, as a trick in a sense, because that's what they do for their AI transcription agent. So you need to tell it what's happening. That way it can write it down for you. Otherwise, it has no idea. It has no camera. Can't tell what's going on. I think that's helpful. I mean, another doctor said basically when you're typing a note, he types it in front of the patient. As long as you say what you're doing, they're okay with it. And I feel that's also useful. It requires a little bit of a shift, right? Because it's a little bit hard to do that, I would say, because we're used to typing, some of us, rather quickly. And so if you have to say what you're doing, then it's not going to be as quick. But the point this doctor makes, which I think is valid, that isn't it quicker when you have your note done already while in the patient's room? That's the quickest, right? So slowing yourself down by speaking while you're typing, figuring out how to do that, it's a good thing to do. I think one takeaway I have is picking your battles. And I find it's interesting how people view that, right? What does that mean specifically, picking your battles? Don't fight the things you can't fight. Somebody else told me, yeah, trying to make these young people lose weight, that's not something you could change. It's rarity. You're going to set yourself up for failure most of the time, all the time, basically. I say almost all. And it's funny how this doctor, my PCP, addressed this issue because he told me a story, and I think this is very useful when talking to patients. Always starting off by telling a story about how when he was hired, right? His boss flattered him, saying, I chose you from all of these other people from the best university, blah blah blah. And he told him that, you know, you be the change that you want to see. There's things other people haven't been successful doing, like changing patients' lifestyle and behavior. You fix the system, you change the system so that it will work, so that it could work out. And I find that very, very interesting. Because later on he told me that I asked him about the young people, how do you get them to follow up, pay attention to these things. That he focuses on his old patients, the ones who are sick, who need medical attention. Some people, they'll figure it out themselves. They'll take care of themselves. But basically saying it's futile. You can't get them to follow up if they don't want to. Older people have this sense of obligation. They have an appointment made for them. They don't want to, have a no-show, blah, 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 right? I think it's like bad marks on their report card. Young people could care less. They don't cancel stuff. There's no penalty. Why would you cancel? What's the issue? Waste your time. But basically, he doesn't focus on the young people either. Whereas my goal is to do that. But how do I do that? How do I focus on these young people? I don't know that I have an answer for that. Because the truth is, young people do what they want to do. And you really have not much say in that. I scheduled one younger person for a follow-up to talk about his cholesterol. Came in talking about something unrelated. I had completely forgotten about the cholesterol. Also ventured to say young people have a short attention span. These are all long-term issues, realistically, and that's completely true. But realistically, the time when you can make the biggest difference is when you're young, right? For these long-term issues. It's like when they talk about investing money. If you put it in when you're younger versus putting it when you're younger with compounding interest, it magnifies enormously when you got an extra 10 years head start. It's just the truth with our body as well. When you're a young person and you lose that weight at 20, become normal in terms of your BMI, it's a huge difference to your life versus you at 30 versus you at 40. The additional benefit at those extra few years when you're younger is just tremendous. It changes everything. And what do you say? You say, oh, yeah, I know. We all know, right? But when you're young, we all know, and what do we do about it? Not much, right? This is the year I told my wife I'm going to work on flexibility, core strength. Haven't really started doing anything. Are we going to do it? Who knows, right? I don't think anybody disagrees. It's the huge, huge, huge influence in our life. But what? Are we working on it? Not quite so sure, right? Should I be working on it? Yes. But nagging doesn't help? No. So how do you fix it? I think for me, that's the interesting thing, right? If you look at these wearables, these newer devices, what are they doing? Why does our case think it's so important? Is it the way of the future? I would say it possibly is. Because we haven't been able to change behavior with standard traditional methods like counseling, telling people what to do, pleading with them what to do, bugging them. Heiser sends lots of annoying emails, spam, I would say, about this or that. How about being upbeat? How about awarding points? Does that work? I mean, I don't know. I signed up for Function Health, and apparently it sends all these text messages, which I find super annoying. I prefer to get almost none on a daily basis. I have no subscriptions. Everything is spam for me. But yeah, maybe this is the way people like it nowadays. Because they look at it. They may not click into it, but they know what it's about. It's a little reminder there. Does it bother them? I don't know. Maybe people would just handle much more of these annoying little messages, pop ups, text messages, if you will. They're good at ignoring them, but they still happen to see a tidbit. Oh, Function Health, yeah, it's about me getting my labs. I didn't read the other one, but it's congratulations for me doing my labs. Is that helpful for changing behavior? Are these what some people call nudges? In terms of other stuff, the whole idea of points, prizes, I'm using Whoop. It's a wearable. no screen, so battery life lasts like a week or longer, which is pretty nice. It's just to collect data. Tells you things like how well you're sleeping, what you can improve on. Keeps bugging me to do a journal, which I haven't done. But I get awards. I get stuff unlocked if I go 14 days wearing it, 30 days wearing it. It's not a money thing, right? It's not like you could pay to unlock it like for games. It's a thing where it is trying to change your behavior. And by these prizes and awards, you're motivating behavior change. Is that the way you interact with young people? I mean, I don't know if it'd be better or easier if I were a doctor who's 25. I think, unfortunately, those don't exist because by the time you finish medical school and residency, that's college 4 years, medical school 4 years, residency 3 years. If you go straight through, that's 11 years. So would have started college at 14. But the reality is, we're all older than these young patients. Their world is very different than the world I was raised in. They grew up attached to a smartphone. When I was growing up, we just started having cell phones when I was in high school. They look stuff up by Googling it. When I was in school, you go to your set of encyclopedias. If you're rich, Encyclopedia Britannica. If you're cheap or poor, it's World Book. They probably process information differently. Some stuff they get quickly, others they don't. There were no instruction manuals for them, as in, that's a foreign concept. Remember how we would buy things and there's an instruction manual that tells you how to put it together, you read it and read it again and then start doing it? Here, just do it first. It should be intuitive. Now I could watch a video on YouTube on how to do it. The world has changed a lot. They process things differently. I think realistically they're motivated by different things. Our teaching method is for older people. The system doesn't work for them. They prize convenience, my PCP told me, and I completely agree. And things are very inconvenient, like coming in the morning to get your blood work done. How inconvenient is that? So you're asking them to not eat and to wake up early and to wait in line? If you show up at 6 a.m. at the lab, I think there's nobody there, but after 6:30, a lot of people, old people usually. I mean, old for them, definitely. So what's the issue? The issue is we don't know how to talk to them in a way that they hear us. I mean, it's like my wife talking to me. She could tell me a million times, you should put your clothes in the hamper. I've heard it a million times. Does it actually change my behavior? Not really. Not to kill a young person a million times, to do this, to do that. Does that change their behavior? Not really. How do you get them to do their labs? Maybe the annoyance I find function health is actually beneficial to them. Have a bright cheery message, hey, labs are coming up in a week. Get ready to see what progress you've made. Hey, labs are coming up. Get ready to see what progress you made. Hey, tomorrow's a big day. Are you ready? Gonna get a good night's rest, not eat anything in the morning, and we'll show them how good our blood looks. I mean, I have to say, the whole idea of scolding has sort of disappeared. I mean, you can't even do it with people at work, right? Like telling them, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, right? I think nowadays it's called harassment if you tell, hey, you should do your job. But I mean, sometimes they don't do the basic parts of their jobs. What do? You just put on a smiley face and say, "Hey, do you mind doing this?" Oh, yes, I'll get to that. That's the best you could hope for, right? I mean, the world has changed in terms of how we interact with other people at work. And realistically, maybe Function Health knows better, or maybe it doesn't either, because it's just, old people creating these systems. What would it be like if young people created these systems? Next time I have a younger patient, I should ask, figure something out, because our way is not working. Yeah, I'll do that. Time to learn, right? I go to see a doctor to see how they interact. There's things they do better than me, things they may not do as well as me. I could learn something. Let me ask my younger patients in the future, how do you do this? What makes you tick? And figure out what I could change to communicate with them better.